Hi, this is Todd Delaney with KSLU Radio in Hammond, Louisiana. Today I'm going to show you how to record a radio promo, and we're going to be using Adobe Audition 3.0 to do so. I'm going to lay down a vocal track, and then I'm going to put some music behind that, and then we'll mix the two together in our multi-track view and create one final sound file with music in the background and my vocals there as well. So to explain that and to actually demo that, let's go ahead and crank open Adobe Audition 3.0. So I'll double-click on that on my desktop, and here we go. This is the edit view that I'm looking at right now. We're going to go to the multi-track view in a little bit, where I can layer multiple tracks and play them simultaneously. But to initially start my my recording on my vocals, I'm going to click on the edit view right here and hit the record button right there. Brings up my recording interface, and it defaults to CD quality, which is good enough for me for today. My sample rate is 44,100, channels is going to be stereo, and my resolution is 16-bit. Let's click on the OK button right there, and there we are. Now I'm laying down my vocals, and the recording is rolling right there. So let me lay down the track, my copy right here, and then we'll come back, edit it, and clean it up a little bit. So here we go, coming down in 3, 2, 1. Tune in to 90.9 FM KSLU this Friday night at 10 p.m. for KSLU's Friday Night Funk Fest, featuring legends from the fine field of funk, including James Brown, Parliament, Bootsy Collins, Sly and the Family Stone, The Meters, LaBelle, and all the others who make your hip. Take two on that. Sly and the Family Stone, The Meters, LaBelle, and all the others that make your hips shake and your body ache. It's a funk collection like no other. KSLU's Friday Night Funk Fest at 10 p.m. this Friday night. The funkiest time you'll have all week. Courtesy of your friends here at 90.9 FM KSLU. Okay, so I had a hesitation in there, so we need to go back and clean that up. So I'll go ahead and hit the stop button right here to stop recording. I can also hit the space bar as well to stop recording. And there we go. So now let me point, and with my cursor I can just left click here and there, and I can hit the play button. It'll start playing audio from that part. So here we go, coming down in 3. So there we go. I can also hit the start and hit the space bar to start and stop the audio. Tune in to 90.9 FM KSLU. Cool, so that's where the good audio begins. I'm going to zoom in and right here, and to do that, I'm going to use my scroll wheel on the mouse right here. So I'll just scroll in by doing that, zoom in by hitting the scroll wheel. It can also come down here to the little zoom area, and you can zoom in, you can zoom out, all that kind of stuff. But I like to use the scroll wheel. I think it's a little bit faster. I'm going to click and drag and highlight everything before the audio that I want to keep. And I can right-click, select Cut. I can also use the Delete key on the keyboard. Tune in to 90.9 FM. So now I'm going to start and stop with my my space bar. Tune in to 90.9 FM KSLU this Friday night at 10 p.m. for KSLU's Friday Night Funk Fest, featuring legends from the fine field of funk, including James Brown, Parliament, Bootsy Collins, Sly and the Family Stone, The Meters, LaBelle, and all the others who make your hip. Okay, so I had a hesitation there, so I did a take two right here. Let's see where I picked up so we can splice these two together. Sly and the Family Stone, The Meters, LaBelle. So Sly and the Family Stone. Okay, let me zoom in by, again, using the scroll wheel. So I'm going to go right before the S on Sly and start highlighting backwards. I'm going to zoom out and grab my little handle right here, pull it back. So I'm clicking and dragging. Hit the space bar to start my my playback. LaBelle and all the other. We need to go a little earlier. Sly and the Family Stone. Okay, right there. So let me zoom in. And right here, we've got the beginning of the S. So this is all the bad take. The highlighted area is all the bad takes. I want to delete that area. And to do so, again, I'll hit the delete button on the keyboard. Now that's gone, and my good take, my second take right here, the good part, continues at that point. So let's roll this back just to make sure it worked all right. James Brown, Parliament, Bootsy Collins, Sly and the Family Stone, The Meters, LaBelle, and all the others that make your hips shake and your body ache. It's a funk collection like no other. KSLU's Friday Night Funk Fest at 10 p.m. this Friday night. The funkiest time you'll have all week. Courtesy of your friends here at 90.9 FM KSLU. All right, not too bad. I got a little pregnated pause right here. Let me zoom in there with, again, my scroll wheel. I'll highlight this section and hit delete on the keyboard. Roll that back just to make sure that it sounds okay. This Friday night, the funkiest time you'll have. I'm going to hit Control-Z to undo that and take out maybe a little less than all that, a little too much right there. So I'm using my scroll wheel again to zoom in, zoom out. click and drag to highlight a section. Anyway, let me play this back. So I'm going to put my cursor back here and hit the space bar.
PM this Friday night, the funkiest time you'll have all week.
Okay, not too bad. There we go. This is my end right here.
KSLU.
And from this point on, I want to delete everything. So again, I'll click and drag to highlight, hit the delete button on the keyboard, and there we go. So now we have a full 27 seconds, I'm looking down here, 27 seconds worth of vocals that I've recorded. I can hit home on the keyboard to get my cursor all the way back to the beginning to play it if I want. I can also come down here to the transport and hit the rewind button to get all the way back to the beginning. Again, start and stop with the spacebar.
Tune in to 90.9 FM KSLU this Friday night.
That's cool. Let me go ahead and save those vocals. And to do that, I'm going to go up to File and select Save As. I'm going to save this to the desktop. I'm going to call this Todd Vocals. And I'm going to save as a Windows PCM type. And right here, I can go down. It's usually the second one from the bottom. So Windows PCM Pulse Code Modulation Wave File. So that's a high-quality recording. I'll select Save and go ahead and save that to the desktop. Now, let me go ahead and open up my music that I'm going to have in the background, and we call that in radio my bed music. I'm going to go to File and Open, and in this case, it's on the desktop, so I'm going to click my Curtis Mayfield track, and that's going to be the music I use in the background, or as we call it, bed music. Now, I'm going to grab both of those files and put them into the multitrack. So let me go ahead and flip over to the multitrack view, and go ahead and do that. So I'm going to grab these this recording right here, my vocals, and I'll put that on track number 1. So I just dragged it on over. I'm going to take the Curtis Mayfield and put that on track number 2. And I'm right-clicking and dragging now to move this around and put it wherever I want. I'm using the hybrid tool up here. So you roll over that and it pops up a little tooltip that says hybrid tool. And I think the hybrid tool is usually the best thing for me at least to get around in the multitrack. I can also zoom in on this as well in the multitrack by coming up here to this horizontal scroll bar and using the scroll wheel. So now I'm just using the old scroll wheel to zoom in, zoom out, so I can get things a little tighter, a little bit more accurate whenever I'm editing and moving these items around. So let me zoom in, grab this and drag it all the way to the beginning. I'm going to take my vocals and have them start when my music starts. So my vocals, my music, they're both going to start at the same time. And again, I can hit the rewind to go to the beginning and play this thing, again, by hitting the space bar or firing off in the transport by hitting the play button.
Tune in to 90.9 FM KSLU this Friday night at 10 p.m. for KSLU's Friday Night Funk Fest, featuring legends from the...
Cool, that's all right. Music sounds fine. The levels on the music is pretty good right there. Right here, though, it looks like the levels on the music get a little bit louder because they're kind of soft over here, a little bit louder down here. So let me play this and see how it sounds if I'm going to be fighting with the music in the background, competing with it.
Legends from the fine field of funk, including James Brown, Parliament, Bootsy Collins, Sly and the Family.
It's a little bit loud right here. So to turn the volume down on this particular track right here, I'm going to zoom in. Let me zoom in a little bit. And right up here, you get a little hand icon that pops up. I'm going to click on this line right here. And it puts these little pointer dots on there. And you can pull that down. Basically, this creates a line. It's got at 100% modulation right there. And then we can put these pointers on it, these little points, and move them around. So you can see maybe the tooltip pops up and it says -7 decibels right there. That's how we drop the volume on this one track on my music track. So now if we roll this back,
legends from the fine field of funk, including James Brown, Parliament, Bootsy Collins.
So I'm not competing, my vocals aren't competing as much as they were before with the music in the background. I'm going to drop down this final volume point here as well and keep all this level so it's all at one consistent volume. There we go. Let me zoom in to make sure that's looking all right. Looks pretty good. And then I can come over here to the edge and drag that back as well. So I want to have my music fade out, just my music track fade out just as my vocals wrap up. And again, I can highlight just the part that I need. And I can grab this little icon right here, and it's kind of a logarithmic fade out thing that you get, I think, in Adobe Audition 2.0. Obviously, we have it in Adobe Audition 3.0. So anyway, we'll roll this back, see how it fades out.
90.9 FM KSLU.
let's say I like that. Okay, so now, there we go. That's pretty easy. We have vocals. We've got bed music in the background. These, again, are on 2 different tracks. I think you get 128 different tracks that you can play around with. We can scroll down. We've got track number 4, track number 3. Keep on scrolling. And anyway, as you lay more items in these tracks, you get more tracks. I think there's 128 different tracks that you can play around with in Adobe Audition. At any rate, I only have 2 right here. To mix those together, I'm going to have to go up to Edit. And in this case, probably the easiest way to do this is go to Edit, Mix down to File, and select Master Output in Session. So it's going to mix these 2 together, pulls me back into my Edit view, and here we go. This is my mixed audio right here.
Tune in to 90.9 FM KSLU this Friday.
So everything as I had it in the multi-track has now been mixed together as one final sound file. I'll go ahead and save that, and to do that, just like I did the vocals, I'll go to File and Save As, and it's on my desktop. I'm going to call this Todd Mix. And we're going to save it again as a file type. Again, second from bottom, Windows PCM Wave. I'll hit Save. And that's pretty much it. So now that has been saved to the desktop. If I want to come back into the multi-track and save this session, so if I want to close out of Adobe Audition, come back to this and manipulate it a little bit later, I can do that as well. So we'll save this session. We'll go to File and Save Session As. And I'll also save the session to the desktop and call this Todd Session, I guess. We'll call it that. Hit the Save button. And now we can close out of Adobe Audition and come back to that a little bit later if we want to. And that's pretty much the basics of using Adobe Audition 3.0 to put together a quick radio promo.